Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world right now, welcome to the 490th episode of the Hospital Podcast. And can you see to my right-hand side, and probably for you guys, the left-hand side, because this ain't a geometry class, right? But, you know, we're trying to work it out. We've got the legendary Mr. Conrad. Can we make some noise for Mr. Conrad in the place, please? How you doing, my friend? How are you doing?
I'm good.
So firstly, thank you so much for coming and just kind of talking about your music and your life and everything like that. How was your journey down?
It was good. Yeah. Good. Nice cruise on the coach.
Fantastic. So you're going back to Victoria Coach Station, the most legendary coach station of all time, of course. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to kick things off today. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat first and foremost. And we haven't had a chance to sound check, so we just want you guys to let us know how the mic is sounding, if we're too loud or we're too quiet. So we're going to kick things off with a Lensman remix of an absolute classic with yourself and Total Science, Soul Patrol. Mr. Conrad, do you want to tell the people how this tune came about?
I've been friends with Total Science, Smithy and Quiffy for a long time, as long as I've been a raver.
Wow.
Pretty much. Grew up just down the road from Oxford in Buckinghamshire. And those guys were working on their Mars Needs Total Science album, and they gave Bookham a set of dubs and just approached me and said, look, we're working on an album with a few dubs in Bookham's box. I wonder if you'd be interested in working on it. And it so happened that this was what you hear on the track is pretty much what I was doing in my live set. So I said, come out and have a listen to what I'm doing.
Well, I have to say, this is genuinely one of my favourite tunes of all time. So we've just got people in the comments saying we need a bit more Conrad. So I just want you.
Check.
I know I'm super good looking, right? But just look at the camera a little bit. I'll tell you what you do. Do it what you do with girls, right? Just give them a little side eye. There you go, ting. So yeah, we have paid attention to the comments. We do apologise for that. So this track is Total Science, MC Conrad, and of course this is Soul Patrol. This is the Lensman remix. Welcome to the 490th episode of the Hospital Podcast. We have the legendary Mr. Conrad with us, and yeah, I'm going to let this tune roll out for a little bit.
Let the music deep in your soul. Inside of your mind.
Right, so Conrad, as is customary on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
And of course, to everyone in the chat, please keep us up to date with obviously the mic levels and so on and so forth. So as customary in the podcast, what I would like to do is just kind of introduce you to the amazing chat room, right? BP86 has actually got a couple of exclamation marks. It says, pay attention to the comments, turn up Conrad's mic. Do you want to just reply to BP and just say, can you hear me or something?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him? Can you hear him?
Is anybody out there?
Is anybody out there? We got
check.
Reese in there saying Progression Sessions 4. Prog Sessions 4?
Progression Sessions 4.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure where the reference is there.
I don't know. Progression Sessions was the mix series. Logical Progression was the kind of centerpiece album thing. But
yeah.
You know.
Fantastic. Okay, so basically, I just want to give some massive shout outs to people who are in the house. So we've got people looking in from San Francisco. We've got people looking in from Texas. We've got Colombia. And that is how excited people have been. So if I just wanted to tell you a little story, which I told you off air, and it was about, usually I have this tune submission email called dubsfordegs@gmail.com, and usually I get tunes sent to me. But actually I've had a few people who, and specifically Reggie from New Zealand, I want to give a massive shout out to Reggie.
Big up Reggie.
Who said, Degs, I don't have any tunes for you, but you know MC Conrad, would you be able to get him on the podcast? And here we are today. So have you got anything to say to Reggie from New Zealand?
Big up Reggie for the suggestion, and we're here.
Hey.
Live and direct.
We've got Kenya in the house, Los Angeles, Portugal. Right, I think it's probably time we go with something a little bit newer from your back catalogue, right?
Don't stop, don't pause, but I go for mine. Deep in your mind.
Okay.
Way down inside of your heart.
And so to the people in the chat, welcome to the 490th episode of the Hospital Podcast. If you have any questions for the man himself, please fire away in the chat. So I want to give a massive shout out to Edmonton, Alberta, Houston, Texas, Denver. So Conrad, this track, born in 94.
Yeah.
With Unglued. Firstly,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on Unglued? Not as a person, as a musician, because as a person,
He's a top dude, man.
He's a top dude.
He's a top dude.
He's a legend.
You know, thank you for him, like, picking up on this sample and coming to me.
Do you want to just remind the people where the sample came from?
The sample's from New Year's Eve at Dreamscape, 93 going into 94.
So it was the crossover into 94.
Yes.
And of course,
yes.
Josh being he'd be nearly 29 now, right?
Yeah.
I think he was born in 94, right?
Born in 94.
It's almost like this
happily making me feel well old.
I mean, yeah, you're not old. You're more just wise. How about that? Something like that, right? So
Mature.
When obviously Josh had the original beat for this.
Yeah.
He sent you the beat with the sample in already. He'd already cut it
Yes.
from the tape, right?
Yes.
So what were your, like, just out of interest, before you even said yes or no, what were your kind of like original thoughts? I mean, how did it feel? Did you feel like it was a compliment, like actually quite a
Absolutely.
warm thing? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you know, I know a lot of artists, you know, they work in drum and bass or they work in their specific genre, but they listen to other things on the road. The sample, Let the Good Times Roll, Johnny Guitar Watson, I think it is.
Yeah, wow.
And that's one of my favourite all-time kind of rare groove tracks. And so hearing that sampled in a track, featuring myself, like, yeah.
So, I mean, the original obviously has quite a lot of meaning because of that sample in the first place.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward, you know, I mean, when did this tune come out? I think it was 2021, right?
Yeah.
2021?
No. We're going back to
2020?
2018, 19.
You don't think it was that long ago?
Yeah, no, it was before lockdown.
Oh, COVID has ruined everything.
Yeah, I
man.
know.
Ruined everything. Especially MCs. It's ruined us. We're all a bit mental now, aren't we?
Yeah, what happened? I don't know. Lost in the TARDIS.
Incredible stuff. But I absolutely love this. You know what I really like about this production as well is that Josh Unglued, we're talking about Unglued, has managed to keep quite a lot of the original kind of jungle flavour with that.
Totally.
Is that something you quite like about his sound? I mean,
Yes. You know, the year it came out, we did one of the after parties on Hospitality on the beach up at Barbarella's.
2018. Yes.
And
5 till 6 in the morning.
Yes. And that was the first time I'd actually heard him play a set. So as I was MCing, I'm listening to what he's actually constructing, and the construction of a jungle respective, reflective set, keeping it fast paced and moving and up to date, hands down, it was flawless.
Fantastic.
You know, so, you know, as somebody, you know, paying their respects to, you know, something that was literally going on whilst he was, you know, still in nappies.
It's amazing. How incredible is that?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Do you know the thing is, and chatting to Josh as much, and Josh is a very good friend of mine, and genuinely to us, I mean, you as an individual are just such a massive part of how we got into this music in the first place. I mean, genuinely, Conrad, like you literally created the blueprint for drum and bass hosting, MCing, lyricism, and I know it's something, knowing as humble as you are, and we've had so many conversations, you'll just pick up the phone and we'll just talk absolute rubbish for 2 hours. It just
standard.
And that's just kind of what we do. I mean, we're MCs, guys, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed.
That's what we do.
But it's amazing because the gravitas of what you've managed to achieve in this career. I mean, what is it that kind of helps keep your feet on the ground? Do you still just love doing this, and is it just more that, or is it just a case of it's been so flipping long now? Like, how much more can you achieve?
Time does move fast. To coin a phrase, you know, life moves pretty fast, and I can't believe it's been 30 plus years that we've been doing this since I've been, you know, first and foremost a fan of the scene as a raver, and then having the opportunity to get up on stages, get on the mic, and add my contribution and be welcomed and listened to.
It's just quite amazing. And for more than 3 decades to stay relevant in that way, it's an incredible journey that you've been on. And standard us, we just natter until the end of the tune because that's what we do as MCs. What we're going to do, we're going to... Look at this. MC D, bro, our fellow MC, he says, what's up with MCs always talking to him?
I know.
So what I wanted to do is just quickly ask a couple of the questions that have been asked here. This is from Jeremiah Davis. MC Conrad, any plans to come play at Stamina? And that's in San Francisco. When was the last time you were in the United States?
Love Cisco, man. The last time I was out in the States was in the early 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah,
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. All right.
Why? Do you know, from now on, should we just stop mentioning the distance of the age?
Yeah.
just stop it.
early 2000s, mid 2000s, and you know, without sort of going into it, there's a visa issue to kind of cover before we can get in there landed, but. San Francisco is my second home on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I love it out there. And yeah, you know, once I get an itinerary, I will be there.
One of the classic tunes, and we will obviously play it a little bit later on, and I remember going back to back with Jamal, the guy that is still running Stamina Sundays, by the way.
Love Jamal.
Huge shout out to Jamal.
Yeah.
Still looks as young as the first pictures I saw of him, right? It's just something in the water out there, right? But I remember going through, digging a little bit and playing some of like my personal Liquid favourites. And let me just be honest with you right now, my favourite 3 Liquid tunes of all time, the first of which is Golden Girl, the second of which is Together by Logistics, and the third of which is someone I really want to get on as well, someone that I really look up to, much like yourself, is Robert Manos, and that is Move On by Saber, Paradox and Robert Manos. So, as a vocalist, as I'm going to play this in, because this tune right here is going to show a little bit of a different side to you, right? Yeah. And this is with Makoto and Urban Dawn, and I believe this is what did this come out on?
This come out on NHS 440?
440, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And this track is called Magic Eyes, and you know, we just played something that is kind of by a modern D&B artist, but very much with a homage to the old stuff.
Yeah.
So as I just line this tune up and start playing this tune, what I want to ask you right now, whilst we're in front of everyone, in front of the whole world, right, from Colombia to San Francisco, is modern drum and bass. I mean, a lot of people from, I guess, even my generation and generations before can find it quite difficult. But for you, you seem to still be able to ride over beats like this. I mean, do you think differently when it comes to writing lyrics over music like this? Or is it very much the kind of same process, just trying to fill the tune and see how you go?
It's a feeling, you know, when there's little melodious things going on in a track, be it in the beats, in the rhythm section, in the top lines, and especially the bass lines. I definitely find the language of a bass line with a drum track can just kind of make you go, you know, you want to find something that slots in the rhythm, you know? It doesn't have to be exactly as what's being played. Sometimes the little lilt that's off, it kind of works, you know? And again, with this particular track, I think Makoto started the chopping. He has access to some of my live tapes, isolated. So.
No way.
Yeah.
I bet Makoto's got a few.
He's got a few little bits.
Exclusives from you, right? I might have to bring my USB round and shove it in his computer when he's not looking.
We don't mind sharing.
No, and this is the great thing about you, man. I mean, honestly, it's really interesting to hear your perspective, because obviously, as a vocalist myself, I mean, I looked and still continue to look up to the things that you've done. I mean, some of the music that you've created over the years has literally been the soundtrack to my early years in this game, and it's quite interesting just standing next to you and seeing how relaxed you are about this. And so, just talking about it in that kind of context, I mean, you feel very relaxed and very natural on stage. Do you still get nervous when you jump on stage, even 30 years later?
Absolutely.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Do you expand a little bit more on that?
Well, I think it's healthy to feel like apprehensive about something and internally challenge that and overcome it. It's definitely healthy. I saw, you know, there's a lot of things on the internet about, you know, self-help and challenging your like hang-ups and what have you. And somebody said the same chemical that you get when you have anxiety and you feel nervous is exactly the same chemical that you have when you're excited.
Right.
So turning that around in your head and going, I'm excited. I'm excited.
So you're essentially harnessing that power.
Puking up backstage, sweating. I'm excited.
Hey, listen, I know a few ravers that do that, by the way.
Right, there you go.
I'm pretty sure that's not nerves, though. Yeah. It might be substances.
True that.
No, it's amazing to see. So, I mean, it sounds like from what you're saying there is that you just kind of knowing that you're using the fact that you're nervous and anxious and turning it as a positive as much as you can, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, mate, I love this. And yeah, we'll let this roll out for a little bit before we select the next tune. To people in the chat, please let us know if you have any more questions or if there's anything you want to ask the man himself. This gentleman right next to me helped create the blueprint that had, curly haired people like me following. So there we go. Cheers, by the way. So whilst we just mix this tune in, right? We've got a question from Starseeds that says, what's the easiest way to get recognition? Now that is a very ambiguous question. However, if we could break that down and just talk about how you felt that you got out there just from your own personal experience. Hard question, right?
Yeah. If you feel you're meant to be somewhere, I used to go to a legendary rave club in East London called Telepathy.
Classic.
Marshgate Lane. This is before it was at Stratford Rex. They were at a place called Marshgate Lane in Stratford. And I was an avid Rat Pack fan. And I used to bug out Everson Allen week after week after week. Let me on the mic. Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, I know exactly what I was like. I was that annoying MC. I used
Do you
to
think so? Do you think that's how you came?
I definitely was.
Even the great Conrad comes across as the mic grab. That's amazing to me. Yeah, honestly, it's amazing to me to even hear that from you.
And I used to say to Mark, Master Mark, the DJ, Everson doesn't like me, does he?
Right.
Why'd you say that? Because I'm bugging him out all the time. Anyway, long story short, he was doing a Jumping Jack Frost set, and he let me have the mic. And I jumped on the mic, did my little hip-hop style thing, and just got a vibe from being on this side of the stage, doing my thing, and just thought, this is me.
It felt quite natural to you then, I take it then, yeah?
And then some local guys who were at the club were like, look, we're starting a thing locally in High Wycombe, same county where I grew up. Would you come down and be the MC? That was where I got my kind of lift off.
Fantastic.
Club X in High Wycombe.
And then to think that 30 years later, there's, everything that you've achieved in your career. I mean, it's. I guess it's. Did you have any plans for the future at the time, or were you just literally like, this feels really good. I just want to be a part of this.
I just want to be a part of it. I just want to get on recordings.
Right. Okay. So that.
Yes.
So to answer the question to Starseeds, right? So we're talking about what kind of things can we do to kind of get yourself out there and get recognised.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that is as relevant now as before as an MC to try and get yourself on recordings?
Get yourself on recordings.
Because do you feel that sometimes MCs are kind of, and just vocalists in general, are seen as more as the afterthought, more the kind of like, you're not necessarily a musician. I mean, I think a lot of the time I find it quite interesting that I can play shows and people will be like, I really enjoyed what you did. And I'll be like, oh yeah, by the way. And they're like, have you got Spotify? And I'll be like, yeah. And it's like, oh my God, you've got so many tunes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a bit of a backhanded compliment in a way, right? How do you deal with that?
We've been looked at in history as just a sample pack, walking
right,
sample pack, which, like I say, Makoto's got hold of an archive of my vocals and can cut and paste willy-nilly as he likes. I don't mind doing that, but respect where respect is due. Credits where credits due, and royalties, please, as well.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
For
said
real.
it.
So, you know, mastering what it is that you do and what you're able to do and what people kind of hear that you're able to do on a mic, and getting that studio technique, getting your studio voice, finding your EQs, finding your compressions, finding that sound that makes you sound like the money. Because every top A&R in every label knows that once you put vocals into something, it doesn't always work, you know, and we come from an instrumental-based genre, but once you put vocals on top of something, it then starts becoming memorable and iconic, and people want to sing along, and people, you know, it just makes
There's that kind of earworm element to it, right? And I think
connects.
that's, I mean, obviously you do get it with a lot of like kind of like modern dance floor has very like kind of easy to remember synth lines, but there is something special. I mean, we're going to play Golden Girl next, and actually, but what I really wanted to talk about is that you just talked about the kind of like more sort of technical aspects. But going back into that, there's a couple of questions on here that if you don't mind me, I'm going to ask. One from Zug that says, Conrad, what have you found technology-wise has changed the most for you and your sets over the legendary career you've had? Big up Zug for that question.
Ooh.
Great question, right?
Technology-wise, man. Interesting question, man. Digital studios, you know, that has, you know, I started recording when there was things like SMPTE codes and reel-to-reel and tape, and, you know, it was valuable, expensive, and time-consuming, so you had to be on point in the studio, and what you take and what you do on wax is important. So having digital and being able to overlay, having a home studio, big thing, you know. And
so, you know, I mean, in a way, it's like the artists these days, they have a lot of access to technology in a way that I guess your generation doesn't. So would you say to people then in that case, go out and take advantage of it?
Absolutely.
Because the opportunities, do you feel the opportunities are, I mean, to make music and to create things at an industry standard, they are actually a lot more abundant now than what maybe you had, you know?
You can pick up a mobile phone and spit into it and do...
And it still sounds pretty
studio
good.
quality, you know? This is what's out there. Studio quality in your hand.
Right, so, Makoto and the legendary mixer MC Conrad. I think it's time, right? It's time to play Golden Girl. Party people, welcome to the 490th episode of the Hospital Podcast. So the people that have asked questions in the chat, we will get straight back to you. But for the time being, here's a piece of history. Some great questions, by the way. I will scroll back to some fantastic, there's a great question about AI. There's another one about the first record that you bought. But for the time being, just do me a favor, party people. Can we get some love hearts, some fire emojis in the chat for the one and only MC Conrad? Let's go.
I don't know if I really
That is the most iconic voice. You and Robert Manos, man. For me, growing up, I mean, look, let me just reel off some of my favorites, right? If that's okay with you. So you got yourself, you got Robert Manos, You've got the incredible Diane Charlemagne, of course, rest in peace. She was absolutely incredible. The absolutely incredible, once again, Jenna G. I remember seeing Dynamite MC on MTV Base with Ronnie Sires in like 96 or something like that. And you guys are generally, I mean, it almost feels surreal to be able to stand next to you on a podcast like this and be able to talk music, man. So I just wanted to say, big up, brother. Thank you so much for coming down to the podcast. It really means a lot, man. Honestly, big up. And yeah, we're going to roll this tune out and actually just play the second drop. So I know we love to talk, right? But we'll just let this play out from here. Yeah.
Should I let go or should I hold you? Sure, I don't know if I'm feeling good.
Wow, there's some excellent questions, you know. Some really good questions. Actually, I'll tell you what, actually. Should we start with this one?
Which one?
I think this is great, right? So in the US,
Yeah.
I find that not a lot, and this has come from Jeremiah Davis, by the way, big up Jeremiah. But in the US, I find that not a lot of us black men tend to listen to drum and bass as it's often looked upon weirdly. Have you ever experienced this? In the UK, I take it, maybe he's asking?
I would be lying if I said no.
Okay.
It's an interesting crossover culturally. You know, there's always a debate going on as to the roots of drum and bass and jungle, and we can go further back into reggae and hip hop and soul and techno, and it's, you know, it's similar with techno. You know, there's the whole Detroit movement, and it's encompassed and indulged by predominantly Caucasian arena, and not so much from its roots. I'm not going to pretend I know the answers to that.
No, it's quite a complicated thing. So I mean, it's quite amazing to me. Like a lot of my kind of cousins who kind of listen to more like hip hop and grime, garage, soul, they see this music as like more like rock and roll, like kind of like quite aggressive.
Okay.
Did you ever feel like that was like, because, you know, for example, in your own family, so where are your family from originally?
Jamaica.
They're from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a huge crossover between the sound system culture,
Yeah.
which is why I find that a lot of Caribbean, kind of the diaspora of Caribbeans tend to resonate with this music a little bit more than my mum, for example, who's African, where this is seen a little bit more like devil music. Not yours. Yours is angelic music. Don't worry, she loves you now, man. I've definitely converted her since, but you know what I mean. And I think it's a really interesting question, you know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think one of the beautiful things that we have in this life is that we're all from different backgrounds. Absolutely. And you know, I was at Submersion Festival in New Jersey over the weekend with someone wearing like a Slayer t-shirt, and they're that like proper like I don't know much about this. I'm sorry if there's any Slayer fans in the chat, by the way, but you know, they're like proper metal, and it's quite cool knowing that, you know, we're from different backgrounds. You know, you've been from a Caribbean background, I'm from an African background. We're listening to a lot of the music that was created in either those islands or on that continent, but then we can be side by side with someone with super long hair and looks like he hasn't shaved for a couple of decades.
It's all about that crossover.
Right.
It's all about that crossover. I don't know what was going on, you know, when I was a little toddler, and just listening to what was spilling over from the radio in my parents' record collection, what the next door neighbours were banging, whatever. There was ska, there was bluesy, there was rock and roll, there was, you know, funk, soul, and I think drum and bass is the hybrid of that. I've always called it a hybrid music.
Wow, okay. So it's almost like a mixture. You saying that it's like just a mixture of so many different genres.
So many different things.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, and it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you can go more reggae than not needed, but just that's the bias.
You can flip it,
or more jazz or more hip hop, and it can sometimes sound a little bit contrived. Not a bad thing. It's just someone's expression, but sometimes you get just the right amount that you'll see a hip hop head nodding, you'll see a reggae head nodding, you'll see, you know, soul girls swinging out, you'll see all sorts of people. You know, there's a drummer at the moment that I don't know what his name is, but he's from a rock band, but his side hobby is sitting there rocking out the most like sophisticated rolling
Patterns of drum and bass.
D&B.
Wow.
And the whole D&B scene's now kind of taking notice of this kid.
Okay,
and
nice.
He's just sitting there, just rocking it out and getting his Amons.
I mean, gee, if he can play Amons at even, especially nowadays at 182.
Oh, he's on it. He's
We'll have to find it. So what I wanted to do, just quickly before I play the next tune, because it's with two, again, not only yourself, but with two of my favourite artists, both Mr. Makoto and, of course, DJ Marky, is I wanted to ask a really, really good question because this is something that I would actually quite like to know. Okay. And this is from D1210, and he says, Conrad, what was the first record you bought?
Ooh. First record I bought, I can't remember which one it was, which came first. It was either Joyce Sims, All in All.
Classic.
Or Crucial Electro Volume 1.
Wow.
Yeah, one of those two things was kind
Have you still got your collection?
Sore subject.
Do we need a whole nother podcast?
You're not a real DJ unless you've lost some of your collection. And my vinyl unfortunately went walkabout one day. But I've still got a box.
But you've still got some memories from that era.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, physical media is an amazing thing, man. Yeah. And actually, it's weirdly years later that I now collect vinyl.
Right.
And more for sentimental purposes more than anything else. So just moving from kind of vinyl to AI, and obviously this question only depends on whether you have had the experience with AI. But this, once again, comes from D1210. He must have been making notes, right? He must have been making notes because this is a fantastic question. He says, do you feel artificial intelligence is a threat to the industry?
To the industry? No, it's a natural progression. It's here. There are those that are going to feel threatened. Just in the same way auto-tune made people feel threatened.
Okay.
Digital studios made people feel threatened.
Software synths now.
Software synths. Yeah. You know, they the sync button. You know, they all.
Careful. We don't want the chat room to blow. We don't want to talk about this.
But this is technology, and it's here, and it's about using it creatively, breaking the rules, doing something different, and so embrace it, because I just feel that you can. Pushing it away. When has that ever worked?
True.
You know?
Do you think that's just quite naturally what we do as human beings, where we tend to kind of resist new technologies, trends, because it's like we don't really like change as people, but then all of a sudden we start embracing it, right? Like I even remember mixing on 1210s and an old broken Newmark belt drive turntables, and when these things first started coming about, I was like, well, this isn't right, yeah. But it's amazing how quickly, I mean, you have to change and adapt. Yeah. I mean, someone like yourself, for example, wouldn't have been as successful as you've been for over 3 decades without that kind of adaptability. So talking about adaptability in that way, is that something you've always thought about, or if it's just like you kind of just go with the wind and you try and keep an open mind with stuff?
I like to ask, why has somebody made this? Why is that button there? Why is the sync button there? Why is there, sample playback buttons? What can we do with this? What can be done? What's it meant to do? What can I do with it that hasn't been done? One of my iconic effect sounds where I make kind of digital delays trail off into strange little patterns is me doing something that wasn't necessarily meant to be done with the effects unit, but naturally, because of the signal path, it does it. And so, that suddenly become a trademark to what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And there's a comment in the chat that further embellishes your point, and it's from Melissa, who's an absolute legend, by the way.
Yes,
and
Melissa.
She says, big up Melissa, right? Yeah, we love Melissa, right? And she says, my favourite teacher used to say, nothing is as sure as change. I mean, that's not a bad way of putting it, right?
There you go.
And change is a great thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the tune. How about that?
Let's do that.
Should we do that? That's a good segue, wasn't it? I told you this podcast is good, bro. No, I'm joking. Okay, so... firstly, before we go any further, we have a long-time listener of the podcast, Eric Lavery, and it is his birthday today. If you don't mind, just give him a little shout-out on his birthday.
Yes, Eric, happy birthday, big up, thanks for listening.
And everyone in the chat as well, give our good friend Eric happy fucking birthday. Okay, it's time Now, you and Mackie, who, by the way, is a very good friend of mine. I know he's a great friend of yours, and I'm very, very lucky that many years later, he has become someone I'm very, very close to, and someone that I enjoy quite a lot, to be honest, as a person, because of his very cultural differences being Japanese, and also just his approach to music is absolutely insane.
Super talented.
This track, Merchant Blessing, the original was on which album? Was this Tomodachi Sessions?
Yes.
So to anyone that doesn't know, Tomodachi just literally means friends.
Yes.
And so what Mackie did back then is this was just before the 2020 craziness, and he got a bunch of his friends together. I'm very, very lucky I feel part of the club, because I was part of the club.
Yeah.
You know, no one listened to my tune, but I was part of the club. But anyway, so this track, Merchant Blessing, you know, it has a lot of elements from Golden Girl in terms of its vibe, but it's completely different in many, many respects. Firstly, I just really want to know, what are the lyrics about?
Cool.
Am I putting you on the spot? A little bit. I'll just update my my Prosecco whilst he does this.
I was working with a crew. We were working quite close, and we had a professional fallout. You know, we didn't have a personal fallout, we had a professional fallout, even to the point that I could still keep talking to them as friends.
That's good.
Professionally,
I respect that.
Something went wrong. And, you know, the clue is in the title. And rather than it being a diss track, hence the name Blessing,
okay. So you flipped it on its head.
Yeah, it was more, you know, I'm going to step away from this, but I'm going to reflect. And that reflection is going to go in the track. Right. And also, it's a blessing because it gave me the inspiration to get off my ass and do things. I'm known as being a little bit long.
Right.
So
there's even that in a documentary I saw once.
I can be a little bit long.
Right.
And so it was just the right kind of fire to go, I'm getting in the studio, I'm going to talk about this and say that and there you go, you know.
But it's a really positive thing that you've managed to flip that on its head. So I'm sorry, just really quickly to interrupt. We've got a few comments that are mentioning about the fact that you might be having a bit of trouble with the plant. I think we're both having trouble. George, by the way, this is King George. He is the executive producer.
Yes, George.
I mean, where have you been feeding these things, bro? I don't know. Crack?
Do you remember the what was the Crystal Maze, whatever it was, with the Gronda.
What a classic! You're not only we drawing for you're drawing for the classics today, you know. My God,
Gronda, you know.
Well, yeah, this is the reason. And Hunter McNutt, they ought to call this the In the Jungle podcast. Well, we talk about cabbage quite a lot on this podcast, and it's not the kind of cabbage you're used to. It's the kind of cabbage you just sort of put in a spliff and it's marijuana.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why we talk about it, but maybe we'll show some cabbage later after this. How about that? That sounds good. Right.
I like that.
You like that idea? Okay, until then, we're going to play Makoto featuring MC Conrad, but this is called Merchant Blessing. However, this is the DJ Marquis Reese remix. 490. I hope you guys are having a good time. We're going to play a couple more tunes from this absolute legend here. I'm going to roll out a little bit more of the podcast after because we have an amazing P Money and Whiny album which came out on Friday just gone. You're a big fan, right? Yeah, you're a big fan, right? And so we're going to play that. And William says it's slowly turning into a wildlife documentary.
David Bellamy vibes going on.
Oh, God. Junichi Nakano says Makoto from Japan. That is indeed where he's from, my friend.
Yes.
A big country, so I actually don't know what city he was born in.
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
He's a Tokyo boy.
So he is a city of...
Shout out to the Shimazus.
Yes,
yeah,
my man.
Yeah. Love the Shimazu family, man.
And just before this drops, right, because actually I want to make sure that when this drops, we can listen to it. But John Paul Johnson says, had an experience with Conrad in DC back in the mid-90s. My friends and I were sitting on a bass bin chilling to Bookham and Conrad. When we looked over, Conrad was sitting right next to us. There you go. Humble guy. People love you, man.
Let's
Big
go.
up
DC crew, man.
Yeah, big up Steve McGraw. who is listening in from Japan, and of course Junichi Nakano is listening from Tokyo.
Konnichiwa.
And I tell you what, we're going to get even more plants for the next episode. I'm not even joking. D1210, I tell you what, you're asking some great questions, but we cannot say that in a sentence, right?
No,
we can't. I think we need to hold over the episode with the man himself. All right, listen close. I want to give some massive shout outs to people in the comments right now. Imka says plants are always an improvement. Well, Imka is from the Netherlands, so of course she's going to say that. Big up Imka, my friend. Listening for, this is PNK Sound, who says, listening from Leicester Midlands, perfect mid-afternoon vibes. Colin Nesbitt says, saw Conrad in Atlanta on a Progression Sessions tour. Great memories, sir. Fantastic stuff. Todd Williams says, shout out the Alabama D&B cruise. Rob DeMarco actually asked a question earlier. Said, I don't know if you know this or not. Is Makoto's brother still producing?
Akira. As far as I know, he's not. Which is a shame. Because Makoto and Akira, they were a good combo, and he had his own little sound. But yeah, no, he's not. It's a shame. Big up Rob.
Yeah, big up Rob, man. Thank you so much for the question. Big up Dom Shapes, who says, how's it going, Mr. Degs and Mr. Conrad? I've been waiting for this all week. D1210 asks, very, very good question. And you know what? I love this. We're going to keep this positive, right? What is your favourite memory of Good Looking Records?
Oh, so many.
There must be a few. I was going to say, there's got to be more than 50.
Well, can we jump to a musical memory, which is the Future School track?
Yeah, absolutely can. So before we play it, I want you to give, if you could for me and for the listeners of 490, would it be possible to give a little bit of background on this tune?
So, logical progression, as well as it being the title track from LTJ Bookham's history, it was also the centerpiece album for the label, like their annual. It's 4 parts to the series, and I did volume 4 with a studio band put together by my brother. Shout out Chris, shout out Mikus, shout out Ranveer Verma, rest in peace, Inda Goldfinger, and Tristan Banks. And I was helped by a plethora of top grade producers to literally put together my first ever kind of studio journey. I learned how to produce doing this album. And at the time, there was a little bit of competition who could do the most obscure kind of time signature with drum and bass. We were experimenting quite hard. And so we did a track in 6/8. I know it comes in 4/4, so you'll be out of mix for a little bit, but it's...
You're basically, what he's telling me is mix the fuck out quick, boy.
Mix out quick, because it's going to go to 6/8 and do something quite jazzy. So I'm quite proud of this, what we achieved. You know, this particular track has aged quite well. Most people will be familiar with the Makoto remix. It was the first remix that Makoto did for me and started our great relationship. But this is the original. Not many people heard it for a few different reasons, but yeah, this is it. This is Future's Cool.
All right, here we go. MC Conrad, Future's Cool. It's about to drop, so we're going to let this roll out. Original. yeah, I mean, the fact that this lesser known is crazy to me. Especially knowing the era as well, where this kind of loungy, vibey, soulful drum and bass, and the way you sit over on top of it is just unbelievable, brother. Like it's unbelievable.
It's funny. At the time, I wasn't so confident about singing.
Really?
And I'm reading a copy of Sound on Sound magazine for producers and engineers. This was the magazine to kind of get tips and tricks. And the guy that did Share, If You Believe in Life After
Oh
Love,
my God, yeah, of course.
he's talking about how he put that effect on her voice. So long story short, I copied it. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a go at that.
Which, by the way, music is just like a long form of imitation in many respects. You shouldn't feel, but I think it's really, really. The reason why I love this dude, right, is because you're very humble about stuff and you're very, very honest. So it's a technique that you saw, and then you just ran with it.
In short, everybody's doing it now. This was the beginning of a video going, I'm going to push the lever up to full on auto-tune and get this kind of vocoder-ish sound.
You're kind of like, it's almost robotic, but not really, because it really still sounds a lot like Conrad.
Yeah.
But it kind of has this like kind of futuristic, future beat sort of element to it. Right. And I mean, you're certainly of the opinion that if you have a tool, you should use it, right?
Totally.
Yeah. And do you feel that maybe, we talked a little bit about this earlier about, there's certain tools that people shy away from, or if there's like new technology like this, for example, the first time I reacted to this, I was like, what the hell is this? This is not vinyl. But it's just like, do you feel that the artists that are most successful from your generation are the ones that, like yourself, have continued to adapt and continue to change?
Modify, change, move with it, man. Go with it. Be like water, Bruce Lee.
Literally like Bruce Lee. Yeah. Wish we could get him on the podcast. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Us two and Bruce Lee. Yeah? I don't know, he might chop us or something. And Steve McGrath says, I cannot believe this is 22 years ago.
For real. In the present.
Pneumatics asks, who made the first ever reference track? That's what I wanted. That's a good question. Good question. So Rob DeMarco, he asks, any plans for a Conrad album on Resonance?
Ooh, maybe.
You're gonna have to give us a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna play something, from forthcoming from Resonance.
Yep.
In a moment.
Yep.
And in fact, something that's already come out. A Makoto remix.
Fantastic, yeah. So we're actually going to lead into that, actually.
Maybe.
But what I wanted to do is I just love this as, not only is this music that I could dance to, this is music I could chill and billazoot to, I can read a book to it. The music, a lot of the music that you make is so transferable to either the dance, at home listening, Spotify, going for a run. When you're making lyrics and you're making sounds and melodies, is that something you're even thinking about, or is that just something that just happens? Or are you thinking, do you know what, actually it's time I made something for the dance, or it's time I made something so that people at home can listen and really take in the lyrics and stuff, or is it just, who gives a shit?
It's what happens at the time, I dare say the majority of the music that I've put my hand to and been, in front of the screen producing, I'll sit there just in a loop for literally days. This album was delivered late. Surprise, surprise.
You delivering something late?
I know.
It doesn't sound like you.
But, if you want to know why, I was sitting there just listening to loops going, wow. So that's what catches me. Whether it's dance floor, whether it's sitting back, zooting, chilling, walking around, singing in the shower, whatever. It's just a vibe.
Honestly, you've got such a great approach to music, and to be honest, it's really interesting to hear, because I feel very, very lucky in terms of my own career, the access to the technology that we've had, the fact that I'm even able to produce music on a laptop without any hardware whatsoever is incredible. And I think it's just really interesting for myself and actually the listeners here as well, to hear from you how you've adapted. Because would you say every era that you've been in, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now the 20s, do you think every single decade has been different in terms of technology? Has it been a market different? Do you feel a bit more commonality in it? Yeah?
Totally. I started recording late 80s, 86, 87, you know, and we'd walk in the studio and the engineer say, okay, I'm going to strike the tape with some Sumpty code, let's go to the pub. And we're walking to the pub and go, what the hell's Sumpty code? What's that? You know, it's the same technology when you put on a track to vinyl.
Yeah.
And you listen to it and you hear that, like the internet download. That's the sound of Sumpty code. And it gives you a time code to which you can fast forward and scrub tracks and go back and forth.
So so back in those days, the ADAT tapes, you could scrub them?
This is before ADATs. This was the actual... We're having that moment.
Okay, so welcome to the hospital jungle, where the things, they're just, I don't know if that's going to stay. There we go. Welcome. Sorry, we just had like a
jungle moment.
A brief cabbage jungle. Sorry, so this is actually going back before. This is something that's really interesting to me. I hope there's lots of nerds in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Because this is before ADAP. So this is where so explain to us exactly what you mean, how you could scrub the tapes.
Well, this was, there you go. Attack of the Killer Plants, the Triffids.
There we go. There we go. Perfect.
Basically, the tracks, the multi-track tape, which would be a wide piece of tape which would hold 16, 24, depending on your system.
Yeah.
Tracks of audio content. You could sit and fast forward and rewind to points and mark.
Amazing. I didn't even know you could do that back then.
Yeah.
Right. Just it's a lot longer the system of getting there.
Yes.
Compared to obviously what it is now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this would allow you to go, right, we're going to drop in at this bar, and it's Sumpty. I can't remember the actual words, but it's an acronym for time code across the audio and film world. So you could sync this to.
There we go. Now you're boxed in.
You could sync this to film, to picture, and literally, you know, it's digital time code, but also working out in bars and music signature time code as well. And it's universal across the world, so you could literally take your tapes to another studio, put them in, and be synced.
So you still had a little bit of like sort of creative editing techniques that you could use. It's not just one and done like it was in, let's say, like the reel-to-reel Beatle days, where what you've recorded, that's it, you're done.
This was the edge of technology in the reel-to-reel Beatles.
So interesting to me.
Sumpty time codes is like, wow, we can synchronize this to.
You do realise, right? When I go home and have my nightly zoo, and I do apologise to my missus, that I'm getting straight on Wikipedia and finding out more about this. Like the Sumpty codes, right?
Yes, Sumpty time code. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't know how many times. How many times, George, have I been flustered on this podcast? Not that many. George says not that many. I mean, this has actually blown my mind, to be fair.
It's the same thing when somebody put Cubase, when you're looking at the time cascading down as you're going through your track, that in a digital format of code is striping one track of the tape.
Right.
So you leave a track spare.
Ingenious, man.
And that would go down on the tape, and that would allow you to go, should we go to the chorus on the after the second verse? Yeah, sure.
Amazing.
And you go straight there, and you could punch in and punch out and do things, and then you could deliver that to Warner Brothers Film and go, put that in the scene where the thing, and it would.
So that's how they went to certain like timestamps, for example.
Yes.
You could then make that happen with the code.
Absolutely.
Very, very incredible stuff, man. I mean, before we nerd everyone out, I mean, I could literally stand and talk about this.
I know.
So maybe when we have our cabbage after we'll talk about it. All right, party people, listen close. You are locked in to episode 490 of the Hospital Podcast. As you can see, I have got the gentleman, one of the people who created the blueprint for drum and bass vocalism in drum and bass, and actually in other genres as well. And actually what I want to do right now is, once again, play something for your Connatural project. Lean Upwards. But this is the Makoto remix. Before I'm going to start playing this now, do you want to tell us a little bit more about this? Because you were about to mention it when we were talking about your Resonance stuff.
I wrote the original of this in about 2008, 2009. The original track was written. And I brought it to life in more recent times for my label Resonance. It was the first track on the label, Resonance 001. Makoto is always pulling up my trouser leg going, give me vocals, give me vocals. And I said, okay, there you go, there's Lean Upwards. But if you remix this, then you've got to remix the track as well. And so this is what he did.
Fantastic.
And the guy's a genius.
He's a genius. Let's get this cracked.
He brought the whole thing to life. We play this every set now, and that's actually our best-selling track on the label,
Fantastic.
Resonance.
Fantastic.
So thank you, Makoto, for that.
Big.
Really blessed for that. Definitely. So yeah, Lean Upwards.
Fantastic stuff. Okay, you know what? I get told off if I don't do this. Just got a couple of little things I need to say. By the way, I mentioned earlier that P Money and Whiny, Streets Love and Other Stuff is out right now. It's streaming, it's on vinyl, it's also on CD. B Complex's Beautiful Lies EP with the Ramesses B edit, Mandy Dexterous edit, and the edit. That sounded weird, right? But it works, right? It drops on the 24th of November. And then after that, I'm going to give you some more information on Hospital. But I tell you what, before I do any of that, we're going to listen out to this tune. And we're also going to play something new. Forthcoming.
Yes.
So we've got a couple of tunes left from the man himself. Let's go. 490.
Just my bloody word legacy, tales of a pedigree, another sound to soothe your calm chemistry, tears of a clown mixed with sweat, blood, energy, things bringing me down and raising you up steadily. Prodigal son recognizes a prodigy, personified drums, broadcast tribally, tune the bass to the tone of a rhapsody, rhythm and blues, the soul of the strategy, cause and effect, now I'm caught in a parody, ridden the calf within the stone of the apogee. They can't handle me, they can't manage me, rob of the truth, send in the cavalry, can't change the course, head on with the rivalry, battlefield overrun, nothing surviving me, force of one, the remedy for victory, spirituality kicks, this old mind synergy, battles the dictionary, like rock and roll, expeditionary visionary, when I go and check the imagery in 3D, I am programmed, hologram, plan to set you free, we bring the raw, deep and basic, no classes, no races, the real drum and bass, check it, you must go see, now that that wall I've invaded, exploring you naked, X-rated, the data laser, BTV, come in front of me, get within this chair, grid in, simplify that command, get on your knees and your hand over the unforgiving, detailing algorithm, nightmare, walking gully infantry, don't bother me, unnatural, done time for the dragons, some of it isn't natural, some of it didn't happen, some of it is the stuff you ever walk around, what under that is a jungle to the underground, that's where I'll be.
Yeah, man, I love that. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And you know what? I'm just gonna read some comments out here, right? Aside from the ones that say cabbage. Awesome podcast so far. It's cool to hear some history of music production like this. Honestly, absolutely likewise from myself. Thank you for Imka for that. MCD, bro, fantastic question, because I actually experienced one of these myself recently. MCD Bro says, MC Conrad and Degs, which tips and tricks would you tell people who have a hard time with writing, as in a writer's block?
I saw something the other day talking about this, and I'll pass it on. It was take something, I don't know, the plants, and imagine yourself as the plant, and
Seriously, not these plants in particular, but
maybe these plants, or the mic, or the mixer. You know, I've seen MCs talk about themselves as, you know, an assault weapon. And,
Wow, okay.
and how they handle the bullets where they're shooting and what have you. You know, not to be on a negative, but just take something that you can look at and go, I wonder what the world looks like from the microphone's perspective,
Right.
The light.
So you're basically saying try and take yourself away from that kind of self-identity.
Start talking about that, and start talking about how you illuminate the room.
Already
show up.
straight away you've got
Right,
ideas.
you've got ideas.
Okay.
There you go.
MCD, bro, I really hope that was some good information for you. And Todd Williams says, take more cabbage plant. I think that just means smoke marijuana,
Yeah.
which is also a great idea. Unless you're under 21, then don't do that. Thomas asks, good question, when's the collab coming, guys? Good progression right.
We've got to do it.
We've got to do it. I mean, we've talked about it.
We talk about it. We talk about this. So we made this happen. So it's
Do you
gonna
know,
happen.
I feel that this is like, you know how like they say weed is a gateway drug to
Yeah.
other stuff. I feel this is our gateway drug.
The Hospital Podcast is the gateway towards the collab.
George, can you hear this? Imagine King George in the background being like, what the hell are these two going on about?
Starts here.
No, but seriously, yeah, absolutely. I cannot wait to make a piece of music with you. And generally, like, before I start talking about this last piece of music, I just wanted to say, firstly, thank you so much. And on behalf of myself and
pleasure's all
absolutely
mine,
everyone,
you
but
know.
genuinely having you on here and being able to educate us, not only on yourself, but some of the really interesting things that you had to deal with on your era, finding out about the way that you had to adapt in order to do this right now. So going all the way from 30 years ago, and you said you was recording in 86, 87, that was 2 years before even I was born, right? Which is amazing to me. Amazing. So fast forwarding now, I think what people really, really want to know, they know that you are a legend of logical progressions. They know you're a legend of good-looking records. They know you've obviously created some of the most iconic vocals for example, the likes of Golden Girl. And that Cologne set with Danny is probably one of the most iconic sets on YouTube, bro. I mean, I used to watch that as education on how to be a host MC. But that's all back then. You're working pretty hard right now. And there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about this specific piece of music that you want to? And this is going to be the exclusive, man. So this is the exclusive of the podcast. Tell us about
This is the lead track on the next vinyl project on my label, Resonance. Shout out to the Resonance crew.
Big up Resonance.
And it's from an artist called Aquaride. And he did a track called Promised Land. And that's been taken and remixed. And the beauty of having your own label for myself is I can go back into that content and bring something to it, you know, that people, are feeling. Maybe that track's getting played out and I can add some vocals to it and go, okay, I can take it into the studio and develop that creatively. So that's pretty much what I've done here. There's a soundtrack that's been created. And I've said, oh, I'm gonna get on top of that, and put my own little twist on it. So we've done that. It's forthcoming on Resonance. It's called Res V002.
Great.
There's a Zero Tolerance remix. There's my take on it. There's also another Con Natural track from Digital that Digital's remixed for me. And there's the original Aquaride Promised Land track. So this is forthcoming. I've just literally heard from the distributors that the TPs are ready to be shipped out. So stand by Bandcamp crew.
Fantastic.
You better get a copy of this.
Fantastic. And I'll
if
tell
you're
you what
fast.
we'll do. We will put all the links to absolutely everything we've been talking about in the comments, in the chat a little bit later. Conrad, I just want to say genuinely, mate, this has been a pleasure. And would you like to do this again?
The pleasure's been all mine.
Oh,
I would
bless
definitely
you,
like to
brother.
do it again.
We'd love
We're
to.
doing it.
So to people in the chat, just do me a massive favour, and if it's okay, just show Conrad some love, some support. We are going to play the Degs-exclusive. This is the exclusive of the podcast.
Degs-exclusive.
The Degs-exclusive, you know? And I tell you what, when you escape out of here, you'll see like a little. You might not be able to see it. George's screen. You'll see it on George's screen. We've got a nice little cutscene.
Okay.
And all the rest of it should give you about 5 seconds to crawl under the
crawl
table
out.
and manage to get yourself back to Victoria Coach Station. Party people, friends of the Hospital Podcast, thank you so much for locking and locking on. I'm going to roll out for a little bit longer. We've got the Degs-exclusive. For the last hour or so, we've had the incredible MC Conrad as a guest. Thank you all for supporting Sir Conrad. And last message to everyone.
Thank you all for tuning in. Big up all the supporters. Big up the Resonance crew. Big up my MC Conrad Live project people. Just, all of you. Thank you.
Fantastic. And get supporting. We'll get all of the social links in there. My friend, genuinely, you're a good friend of mine and a hero of mine. I really appreciate you, man. And thank you so much for making your way down here. And listen, I think it sounds like people want you to do this again. So we'll do it again, right?
No, we definitely will.
We'll do it again. All right, it's cutscene time, baby. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the people around the world, it is time for the Degs-exclusive.
That's right. The exclusive. Wow. Oh. Which one of these mics should I put away? Probably this one. It might be a bit safer. George is like, don't break the studio now that Conrad has gone. Junichi Nakano says, arigato, Degs and MC Conrad. Tyson John Rushgrove says, respect.
Paradise on demand, your every wish here by command. See your dreams expand, whilst I trace your name in sand. Try to understand, you're living in a promised land. Take my hand, more than you could imagine. Got you, let's find a way to drift across the deep blue. Causing misbehavior, making dreams true. We can do anything that we want to. I gotta find a way to rock you. There's nothing here to stop you. Check fantasy out from the sky view. Celestial ecstasy to the rescue. And look about got you so this world, second to none. You're happy as the day is long. Swinging in the Amazon. Hanging the con, get your good groove on. Now it feels like you belong in this life with everything you want. At peace with the ambience.
Yeah, honestly, thank you guys so much for locking onto that. That was, to be honest, a bit of education for me, and to be honest, like, this is something I've really wanted to do for a very, very long time, to get this gentleman on here, because I think he's got a really, really unique perspective on drum and bass, because he also produces as well as writes vocals, MCs, sings, raps, hosts, is a general personality. I truly believe that he's got a very unique perspective to talk about drum and bass, and that's why it was an absolute pleasure. And it sounds like you guys would be well up for having him back again in the comments. Thomas asked, what fluids are you drinking this stream? I'm actually just drinking a mixture of beer and what else am I drinking? No.
Now we've escaped and crashed.
Prosecco as well.
Feeding on dates and pomegranates. The scene is exotic.
Click says one of the original vocalists.
More than you can imagine.
To be honest, man, like I generally to you guys can't put this strongly enough. And I know I've said it a few times, but we're talking about the blueprint of drum and bass, MCing, vocalism. I mean, that gentleman is right here, right?
Down into waterfalls, moans of your pleasure echoing round or audible. This place is a real one, completed mission impossible. Our message in the bottle says we don't need no help at all. You won't need to come at all. There's no need to climb the walls, no need to break through. Holding the keys to your imagination, picture the perfect view. The sun's about to rise as we discover the overdue. The gates of utopia. Welcome to Xanadu. I've got you. Let's ride away to just across the deep blue. Causing misbehavior, making dreams true. We can do anything that we want to. I gotta find a way to rock you. There's nothing here to stop you. Check fantasy out of bonus. Pass your ecstasy to the rescue. And the box got you surrounded.
Right, you know, we mentioned B Complex. She's done a 2023 edit of Beautiful Lies, right? This is out right now on Hospital Records. Let's go, baby. Thomas says, tell you what I was watching, a clip of Fairy Degs on my camera roll from Hospitality in the Park earlier. Still makes me laugh, yeah, man. I told you, this brother thinks he can fly or something, man. So yeah, what a track right now. We got D-Bro who says, have you heard the Ramesses B remix, which is actually being premiered on the podcast next week? Cool shorts, right? Hey, can we give a massive shout out right now to James and Tasha Dixon's parents? We got these guys into drum and bass. That's a mad thing, man. Come on, that's a mad thing. Hey, listen, you know the best thing about Conrad? He's still here, just having a great time, being a legend, man. That's it. So apparently I missed a kid who is 11 years old in the chat. His name is Dixon. Yeah, big up Dixon. We want to make a big shout out to Dixon right now. Eric says, loving the new hairstyle, Degs. I hope my girlfriend likes it. I haven't tried it yet. Yes, Dom, that PSG result was too much, rude boy, on my days. Right, we got some brand new music from Operate and Javon. I'm going to try and double this. I've never tried this before, but let's have some fun, right? Could be Clang O'Clock. Oh, I love that. All in the chat, they're just giving some love to Dixon, man. Big up Dixon! Yeah, yeah. Kate says, Dixon, my son is 10 and loves Degs. Big up Kate, man. It was so nice to see you a couple of times, right? Whilst I was in America very recently. Okay. Oh yeah, Thomas asks. Conrad's got to get back home soon. He's just grabbing his hat real quick. The no talk guy is here. Hey guys. No talking, just music, please. This track is called Can We Talk?
Can we talk? We all need to lean on each other. Sometimes it's harder on us all.
And honestly, I know he's just there standing here, but this track is massively, massively influenced by people like Conrad, Stamina, Darrison, and yeah, produced by Newton. Let's go.
See, some days it's a long stare with a numb face. Like I lost there when the rush came. Can we talk more than touch base? Savor the one taste. Swallow your pride a couple times to leave the runway. No chip on my shoulder, just a place for you to lean on. Reignite the feeling when the dream's gone. We're fleeing to the sweet spot. Circles round the globe.
Can we tackle, baby? Let's go.
Trying to learn as I evolve.
God knows I don't believe religion never gave me peace.
Big up Wholesome. Listen, I know we get some interesting comments. Michael Hamilton says, R.I.P. Tony Coleman. I can absolutely assure you he is alive.
Leading, yell it with your chest. I'm seeing leaves fall off the trees, regenerate and grow in peace. I send this message overseas. I hope you see the sense.
We all need to lean on each other. Sometimes it's harder on a solo walk. So many people leave their woes ignored. It's so unhealthy to have these skeletons in mental stores. It's like you can't even have open doors. I'm waiting, but the people stay the course.
No one saw that. Actually, Conrad just pointed at me. Yeah, also, as well, you know, it is the year of the vocalist, right? So I want to give a massive shout out to Dusky, who was the verse that you just heard.
When we talk, we all need to lean on each other. Sometimes it's harder on a solo walk.
Steve McGrath asks, is this from your new album? This is actually from Mixtape Spray Out, number 2, which came out in the middle of lockdown 2021, when all I did was cry about the fact I was in lockdown.
Stay the course, an invasion of force, a manufactured boundary, man up is the way we were taught. A complex organ that some folks are afraid to explore. Can you find your purpose when you never stray far from the shore? I felt I came correct, but life won't always pan out right. It's only through my ignorance I never saw with open eyes. Was cycling this apathy, wondering why some friends have died. What did I do to earn this spot? Don't even know what that implies. So with that in mind, the blessing that we have is life. Turning chapters on the script that I can't even analyze. Elaborate your paradise.
Big up Michael, man.
I'm quite familiar with pouring out my heart to feel satisfied.
Don't stand alone, it's connected world. There's ways and means to get by. Even those of us with the coldest hearts need stimulus to feel life. So I implore you to please try. Don't shame yourself if you cry. Just reach out to your people. Never wait for a sign.
Ooh, Thomas asks, favourite tune for the P Money and Whiny album? I'm going to play a couple in a minute, right? Big up Steve McGraw, Jeremiah Davies, Davis, it's only because my surname is Davies. Degs, any plans to collab with A Little Sound? I mean, my God, I would absolutely love to. But to be honest, I think she's just killing it too much, man. I don't even think I've got a number anymore. No, but she is an incredible vocalist. And I'll tell you what, she's someone I absolutely will try and get on the podcast at some point. Someone from the new generation that has taken on the blueprint of Conrad, of Stamina, of Darrison, of people like Dynamite, Gianna G, Diane Charlemagne. I mean, we've had so many legends that have opened up and paved the way for us. And that's why I was so happy when people were suggesting Conrad to come on this podcast. Because to have the insight and the knowledge and the education from people like that, I mean, then, listen, this will be one of the podcasts, because normally I go back and I'm like, is this what I really sound like in real life? I listen to the podcast, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But this is going to be amazing for me to listen back, because, you know, there's going to be some nuggets of information that I'm hopefully going to take in to this new album that I announced a couple of weeks ago. Did I announce it a couple of weeks ago? I've started it the other day. I know no one needs to know. I tell you what though, this album will not be complete without MC Conrad, right? It will not be complete. Incredible stuff. Okay, so Daryl says, I'm gonna need the world at play lyrics so I can try my best Degs impression when I'm on the way to work in the AM. I'll make sure I post it in the comments. Do me a favor, my friend. Just remind me in the comments, please. Eric says, I ordered the letters from Degwa Vinyl as a birthday present to myself. Anybody know the name of the artist? I have no idea, but he's a criminal, mate. Don't let him in the US. Or Canada. The Driller asks, is UK grime dead since a lot of MCs are spitting on D&B? No, I think that's actually an indication more to the fact that drum and bass is just fucking popping right now, and finally people are, you know, realizing how much scope there is to make vocal music and melodic music on this music, and also just meaningful music. It's incredible. So for me, when I was growing up, like the guests we've just had on, and like the plethora of artists I've just mentioned, I mean, realistically, you should know, like, this music is almost perfect to get deep on. I think people get a little bit, like, maybe put off by the fact it's super fast and, like, you know, like sometimes aggressive, but I think this is the best thing about this music, man. It's just, you can literally do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's amazing. Right, time for some classics, right? Talking about Darrison.
Guitar strong, record spun, hats, kibasa, Mikasa, Sukasa. Now tell me what I'm after. You know, find a style like this. When I was a youth, I listened to Miles Davis. Lost in space like Neil Armstrong. I used to melodies from Louis Armstrong. Last night I fell asleep in my home. And I lick a dream of Nina Simone. I laid down before I came round. She told me get up like Mr. James Brown. Drop, 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 drop another one. Drop, 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 drop another one. Drop, 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 drop another one. Whoa, whoa, hey, hey, drop, 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 drop.
Dom is asking for the ID. This is DJ Fresh and one of my heroes, genuinely, Darrison. Chat's called All That Jazz. Yeah, big up Emma B. I'm going to see her over the weekend. She is an incredible DJ. Solar and Emma B, you've probably seen at a hospital show somewhere. If you haven't, you guys are crazy. George, that hurts.
Let me see if you can dance like Michael Jackson. You know, find a style like this. When I was a youth, I did some old Davis. Lost in space like Neil Armstrong. I used to hum melodies from Louis Armstrong. Last night I fell asleep in my home. Had a little dream of Nina Simone. I laid down and before I came round, she told me get up like Mr. James Brown. Jump, jump, another one. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, another one. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, another one. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, another one. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, another one. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump, another one. Oh, 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 oh,
Yeah, sorry to everyone that's listening on Spotify. I'm not used to having the mic this side. I actually like cut my hand. Right, P Money and Whiny.
When I touch mic, it gets hyper. Got the crowd following my sound. Pied Piper. Chicks give me looks, hoping for a.
So I can't remember who asked me, right?
When the vibes you can call.
They asked me, what is my favourite track
Touch mic, it gets hyper. Got the crowd following
of the P Money and Whiny album?
Piper. Chicks give me looks, hoping
It's this.
for a new night. Following my vibes, you can call me Pied Piper. Everyone flash their lighter. Not your birthday, but here's a balloon. I'll gas you up for fiver. You see my name and you see Whiny's written big on the flyer.
Oh God, I'm sorry to interrupt this, but I have to actually answer this question.
Wanna know what goes on inside our tents? You better be an insider. Boyfriend.
So Alpha Canal asked, how was the P Money and Whiny set on the boat in person? It's fantastic on YouTube. All my days. I don't know if anyone's actually watched this, and I don't know why they kept in my intro where I'm just like, he's like the best ever. It was you, George, wasn't it? I knew it was you. I knew, and I'm just embarrassing myself, fawning over fucking P Money. It's unbelievable. But yeah, it was fucking special, man.
Follow this sound and meet your savior. They can hear it traveling from here to Australia. Everywhere we go, we got that UK flavor. This is for the vibes, not the gram. That's how we took control, not giving it back. 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 We took control. Now when we touch mic, it gets hyper. Got the crowd following my sound. Pied Piper.
Jeremiah asked, can we get better, Dan? I mean, we could do. But unfortunately, Mr. Conrad has got to get back. He's got to get back at some point. So what are we going to do? As I promise, I'll play it to you next time. This track right here that you can hear is Waze and Leveler. It's called The Devil. Right, someone said nasty tunes. So we're going to play a little bit of nasty stuff before we end tonight.
city, call me 63rd. If the brothers on the L's in that world. Call me in the city, call me 63rd. Everybody in the area ain't. Call me in the city, call me 63rd. If the brothers on the L's in that world. Call me in the city, call me 63rd. Everybody in the area ain't. In the city, call me 63rd. Call me in the city, call me 63rd. In the city, call me 63rd. Brothers on the L's in that. Call me in the city, call me 63rd.
Oh, that mic, man. Yeah, I love both of these tunes, right? In the City by Bass Tripper and Bonesaw by Similar. Incredible, man. So this track right here is from P Money and Winey's new album Streets, Love and Other Stuff. This track is called Ghetto Hospitality, featuring Dreps and Blacks.
I was out there running bread, but when you see me was on job. I know couple couldn't stand me, little shit on bits I was. Said I'm done with all this young shit, all this road life needs to stop. Started writing D&B and said I'm making this my job. I grew older, I grew wiser, I went hard and made it pop. Jumping head first in this business, I want.
Yeah. Can we get some Kenyan flags if you can actually get that in the chat? Because we've got Moses Gitua, Musa, my friend, from Jungle Culture in Kenya. We're playing a show in Kenya, Nairobi, on the 13th of Nairobi. It is myself, it is my good friend Etherwood, and the incredibly talented vocalist, formerly known as Lady MC, Indigo Rain. Yeah.
Know me from 011 thinking I forgot. Thank God that I'm at it and I'm really on my job. Some man are haters, that's why we cut them off. You won't ever see them with us, you won't ever see them with me. Cause they're fucking up my energies. If you're gonna do interviews, don't do them like thingy box. Can't hit you with that Hennessy. Uncle, what you telling me? All I hear is jealousy. Fucking up this D&B. Don't compare them boys to me. I was sourcing in the trenches, I'm not from the burbs. When you speak to me, you better watch your words. Cause I switch and flip my lid if you get on my nerves. I do
right.
Crazy and absurd. Yeah, we mash words. Tactics on mash words.
Okay.
Yeah, daddy went around, so I used to play up. I was a robber trying to blend in as a raver. I still did things when I didn't want to take off. Just trying to see my goal rise like a baker. In the city, there's no love for your neighbor. The postcode war used to be major. I could have been in jail or a graveyard. Just kind of mad, but music really was my savior. They listen to me rap and know it's not a game. I'm ashamed, I used to be a robber and popping chains. It weren't about being a gangster, was about the pain of seeing your mum
bike.
Movements round the road to get P just in case my family couldn't support.
And it's now stuck in the jungle, George. Can I use this one instead? Is that alright?
Had to switch up what my aim was and then really start to blossom. So don't ever throw no tarnish on my name, cause I really ain't bothered. Man, I come through like Catherine Tate from the council estate, but I'm leaving that boring. Daddy went around, so I used to play up. I was a robber trying to blend in as a raver. I still did things.
Check.
Wanna take part, just trying to see my goal rise.
I mean, it's getting to the point now. Thomas asked, can we hear the tree MC? When I'm in the mic now, when I'm in the mic, when I'm in the mic now, when I'm in the mic, coming in the tree, when I'm in the mic. Bro, he's got no bars, man. Shut up.
So I used to play up. I was a robber trying to blend in as a raver. I still did things when I didn't want to take part. Just trying to see my dough rise like a baker.
I tell you what, D1210 asked Degs, time to upgrade my headphone game for production recommendations. I will put it in the comments. It's an Audio Technica, which I've been using for many years. Click Artist says, would be good to see Cleveland Watkins on here too. Oh, mate, that is a flipping, that is a suggestion and a half. I'd absolutely love to do that.
6 months on tag and summer playing with my mental health. Didn't even do what they were saying, I just didn't tell. Mother sticking by me taught me about values and family wealth. I stopped blaming others once I realized I went by myself.
Dom, do you want to give the tree another 16?
Early teens fighting a broken system that's blaming me.
I got bars, I drive cars, I got bars and I got Charles. Give me the mic and I'm feeling hard. Give me the mic and I'm what? Bro, his bars are terrible. George is like, what time are we going home, man?
People fighting just for things to eat.
No talk, only tree.
Daddy went around.
Right, I'm gonna play one more tune for you guys right now.
I was a robber trying to blend in as a raver. I still did things when I didn't want to take part.
So thank you guys so much for locking on. I'm gonna end up with one more tune from the P Money and Whiny project. And this track is a little bit different. It's called Low Key and shows a different side to P, shows a different side to Whiny's production as well. And honestly, I think this is absolutely fantastic. Jeremiah says that plant needs more bark. Listen, party people, of the 490th episodes, we are only 9 episodes away from the big 500. Keep sending me your recommendations for guests. Trust me, we are listening. It all depends on whether they can actually turn up or not. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for locking on. This has been one of my favorite podcasts because it's had someone that I've looked up to for many, many years and continue to do, even to this day. I'm smoking too many of these trees. And it is the legendary Mr. MC Conrad. Can we just make some noise in the studio? I know there's not many of us. Incredible stuff. So I'm going to play one more tune from P Money and Whiny. And then I've got a little message for the people just after that. And this track is called Low Key. I'm going to low key drink my beer.
Yeah, cruising around the city on a Friday night. Boy, them out patrolling, trying to find me like. Telling all my boys I think I found a wife. Cause I see life so different when you're by my side. I pick you up at night so you can roll with me. You ain't told your friends, but then you'll know it's me. I wonder what your father thinks of me. I don't mind if he's hating on me. We can keep it low key. Baby, we can keep it low key. Baby, we can keep it low key. Baby, we can keep it low key.
Incredible stuff, right? Jeremiah Davis says, just realized that this is the first podcast I listen to where I'm not stoned.
On a Friday night. Boy, them out patrolling, trying to.
Well, this is what, the 80th one that I've done? No, I am stoned. I'm joking. I'm joking, George. I turn up to work and I do it properly, right?
Nice so you can roll with me. You ain't told your friends, but then you'll know it's me. I
So yeah, just to let you know, P Money and Winey's latest album is out right now on Hospital Records. Go and cop that. It's on vinyl, it's on CD, and it's of course at all the usual places.
Backseat, the type of secret love that no one knows.
Moses Kaka, you know, right?
I'm just a so-and-so. They think I'm just a come and go, but I ain't got no common goals. Your dad knows I don't wear no common gold. Late nights on the phone, date nights at a show. You don't wanna be a secret, cause of him you gotta go. I bust a red, while playing bust a red. Guess I'm rubbing off quick.
Thanks, guys. So, listen, we've had a lot of fun on this podcast today, and it's half the reason why. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort the mic out. It's half the reason why I love this podcast so much, man. Is because, the trials and tribulations of this life. We get an opportunity to kind of hang out with people. I get to bring some of my heroes on here, and we just basically get to have a good time. But unfortunately, life is a serious thing, and I've mentioned this dude before. So as you can see, I'm wearing the iconic red Junglist Movement t-shirt. Unfortunately, I got a message last night, just before I was about to go to sleep, that the founder of Junglist Movement and Aerosol Limited, Leke Adesoye, my Nigerian brother, someone that I love so much, I cannot even describe. And this little segment is going to be a little bit difficult for me. So, just sort of bear with me on this one. Unfortunately, he passed away yesterday. And I just wanted the opportunity just to kind of, now that his family has announced it, to just kind of say a few words about Leke. Leke not only has created one of the most iconic, and this is just the most iconic UK brands of all time. I mean, I don't know who has seen Human Traffic. I think everyone who is from the UK has flipping seen Human Traffic. And the scene where he goes, any jungle in guy, I mean, it just to create a brand like that is absolutely insane. In 2017, I really wanted to be a musician, and Leke was one of the very first people that actually hit me up after I started putting Facebook videos out. And he was very supportive of myself and my little brother Murayuki and our project Kikuyu Soul, the hip hop project. And way before Hospital, in fact, Leke, he helped me in many, many ways to try and work out how to be an artist and how to conduct myself, because, I have absolutely no idea what I was doing. And, I mentioned it on I can't remember I'll have to ask George exactly what episode it was. It was maybe 484 or 485. We had to cut it short because but there was an event put on for Leke and the Junglist Movement brand, which was a fundraiser for Leke. So if anyone who doesn't know, basically, Leke had suffered with sickle cell anemia his entire life, and obviously had also broken his leg, and they discovered some cancer in his leg, so they'd actually chopped off and amputated his leg. So I went to go see him at University College London Hospital. Shouts to the guys there, an absolutely amazing hospital. We're very, very, very fortunate in this country to have an incredible NHS. And I saw him back in January, and he recently had his leg amputated, and he was in a completely different space to where I'd ever seen him before. But the thing is about Leke that I love more than anything else is that dude suffered so many trials and tribulations in his life, yet just with that African, Nigerian, British spirit, had just fought through it the whole time. And Leke was a huge inspiration to me. He sponsored me way before I could even get a look in with anyone, whether that's Hospital or any other drum and bass label. He sponsored me. He sent me a bunch of merch. He kept daily encouraging me, saying, you guys, you and your brother, you've got what it takes. You just need to keep working hard and keep your head down and keep your feet on the ground. He's someone that inspired me so much. So the reason why I wanted to say this right at the end is because, I just had someone who's a massive inspiration to me, and I wanted to make sure that this podcast was about Conrad, but also get the opportunity to talk a little bit about Leke, because Leke is a very, very, very important person to me. And to be honest, I just want to tell you guys a little story about on the 2nd of August when I had to cut the podcast short. We went down to the Forge in Camden, and it's actually me, Chris Goss, obviously the CEO of Hospital Records, and his nephew Joe, who runs Solvent and also does the merch at the label, and my little brother Murayuki. And we had the opportunity to go down there, and we were repping. I bought this t-shirt there, absolute iconic t-shirt, and he had the likes of Killer P, Rodney P, Fabio Groove Rider, Jumping Jack Frost, some of the biggest legends in D&B all getting there. And there was one point that I'll never forget, because this now feels like the send-off to his life, where Leke was in a wheelchair and they all lifted him up onto the stage to give him the respect and love that he deserves. And to be honest with you, it's a memory that will stick with me now for absolutely the rest of my life. So I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking about just how incredible that individual was. And I'm really, really grateful that you guys, I can see that you've stuck around in the chat just to hear me go on about it, because this individual is someone that I respect a lot. The last message he sent to my brother was one of love and admiration and encouragement. So even in his darkest days, and even in the time where he had cancer, sickle cell anemia, and leg amputated, had moved out of hospital but then back into hospital again, he still had the time to show love to other people. And I think that's basically the summary of what I wanted to talk about. This doesn't matter what you go through in your life, try and respect people as much as you can. But yeah, rest in peace to Leke Adesoye. When we know more details about what we can do for him and his family, I'll obviously let you guys know on the podcast. But I just wanted to end this podcast just to thank you guys so much, because you're very, very special people. And I know that you would appreciate me being able to talk about this. This person was a massive part of not only drum and bass culture, but also UK urban music culture as well. So if you don't mind, just get some love hearts. I know you're doing it already, but get some love hearts in the chat. Rest in power to Leke Adesoye. Obviously, we'll let you know more details as we know it. And to Conrad, thank you so much, my friend. Honestly, brother, I have so much love and respect for you. You have absolutely no idea. Thank you as well to King George, who puts up with so much, even the technical difficulties earlier. He puts up with so much. But yeah, it was a difficult one, knowing that this was sort of coming at some point in the podcast. But yeah, just wanted to kind of let you guys know. And even if you've never heard of the dude before, the fact that you've heard me talk about him for 5 minutes is enough for me. So thank you guys so much. I will see you in now 4 weeks' time. The next one will be a pre-record, and then we should be back in the business after that. Until then, all I can say, especially with this news, is look after each other, be good to each other. And honestly, I love you guys so much. Like, it really does mean a lot. And, we've got to try and enjoy this life as much as we can, because, we don't know how long we're going to get, whether it gets cut short or whether we get lucky. Who fucking knows? So just want to give a big salute to Leke, and thank you so much for all of your support, brother, over the years. And until then, until 491, to the Hospital Podcast listeners, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Conrad. Thank you to George. Much love to you guys, and we'll see you soon. Take care.